Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Lifecast. Guess who's back in the building? Peter Reeves, everybody. He was on sabbatical. He's got 3 kids now, and he's now sponsored by North Face, which is awesome. And I'm glad he got that sponsorship, and now he's back. Welcome back, man. It's good to see you.
It is good to be back on the Lifecast, and got 3 babies now, and I'm increasingly more tired and more broke. So we're good, man. Good to go. And
give the people the babies' names.
Yeah,
all the names.
I can't give you my foster babies' names, but they are adorable names. But then I have
give us their nicknames. You got to call them something. Yes, give us their nickname.
We call my son Kiss. We call him Kiss. That's his nickname.
Okay. Kiss. That's a name. Yeah.
And then my daughter, you're gonna guess her name now when I give you her nickname. Her nickname is Tiff Tiff. So Tiff Tiff. You don't know what that is.
Okay. Tiff Treats. That's cool. All right.
Exactly. Then my daughter, Charlie Grace, and she is the cutest baby in the world by far. I don't care who disagrees with that. It is true. She's light skinned.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I've never got into before. It's cool.
I love it. Well, we are 24 hours before an election. Today's episode is called "What If He Wins?" What if he wins? So, Peter, my question for you, before you ask me any questions, what are you going to do if he wins?
If he wins, I think no matter what, I'm going on a 40-day fast. Okay, people.
That's what you're going to do.
Because no matter what, right, it's gonna be tough. There's gonna be people on both sides who are increasingly disappointed, upset, frustrated. Mm-hmm. And no matter what, the trust across the board, the scope of our nation has been broken, and we have to rebuild. So I'm kind of aware of this, man, and I feel the pressure to be ready for what happens when he wins.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if he wins?
I remember the first time I voted. I was in elementary school, and we had a class vote, and they put up all 3 presidential candidates. I only remember one, Ross Perot, and he was the independent choice. And he actually won in our class because we were little kids and all we cared about was that he had big ears. And we were like, he's awesome. We don't know what these other 2 jokers are doing, but we like Ross Perot. So Ross Perot was our president. I think I was like 3rd grade, something like that. And so then in the year 2000, I remember when Bush won, and then 9/11 happened, and it was just like, oh, what's that going to look like for him? And I remember in 2004, that was the first year I had turned 18. I think I turned 18 maybe a couple months before this election. And I remember people that weren't voting for Bush. I forget even who his opponent was in 2004. But people that weren't voting for Bush, they kept saying this: I can't do this for another 4 years. I can't do this for another 4 years. I was like, you can't do, oh, okay. And again, I didn't grow up in a politically charged environment, and I still don't live in one to this day. I think politics are very important, but I'm not emotionally swayed in either direction in regards to who the president is. So I was always obviously friends with people that are.
Right.
And so I was always just trying to be in the moment with them. So 2008 comes, and it's Obama versus McCain. Okay. So people that weren't voting for Obama said, there's no way I can do this for 4 years. And I'm a patterns person, okay? I love looking at patterns. I love looking at, wait, I've heard this before. It's deja vu. Okay, we're going, I've heard this statement before. Can't do this for 4 years. Okay. 2012 comes, and it's Obama versus Romney. And people that weren't voting for Obama said the following: there's no way I can do this for another 4 years.
Nope.
And I'm going, man, I've heard this before. Then 2016, Trump versus Hillary. People that weren't voting for Trump, there's no way I can do this for 4 years. And I'm going, I don't know. Maybe you can't. But here we are in 2020, and people have the same statement that I've personally been hearing for 16 years. Oh, hey, I can't do this for another 4 years. And all I would say from my very non-politically charged background,
right,
looking back on the last 16 years, you can.
Somehow you're going to prevail.
You did. Does that mean like what you said you couldn't do? You did because you didn't have any choice.
Right.
Like, and so if Trump wins, if Biden wins, I think we've got to do the same thing, no matter what. My MO, and this is what I want to encourage listeners. This is what I want to encourage viewers to do. Make a decision about how you're going to respond before you see the results.
That's so good.
Make a decision about how you're going to treat other people before you see the results. Been saying this for months. There's a 50% chance, it's a 50-50 shot of obviously our friends and family. There's a good chance that they're going to be upset one direction or another. Regardless of the side you find yourself in 2 days from now, I just encourage a person to make a decision today about who they want to be on Wednesday. If you're a Christ follower, in my mind, it's Tuesday's a big deal for a president. Wednesday's a big deal for a Christ follower because they have an opportunity on Wednesday to go, okay, the votes have been counted. That's if the votes have been counted by then. Who knows what's happening with, mail-in votes and all that stuff. But I think Wednesday is a great opportunity for anybody to go, okay, regardless of who you voted for, regardless if he won and the he that you voted for won, man, I think we've got an opportunity to extend a ton of empathy to people that are upset.
Right.
Because there is no scenario where people won't be. But we have a choice as to how we can respond to one another. And if we wait for an outcome to decide who we want to be, it's too late. It's too late.
Right.
Because we'll respond emotionally. And so prepare yourself now for mean tweets. Prepare yourself now for Facebook posts. Prepare yourself now for prepare yourself for those things. You shouldn't be surprised by any of those things. But man, I think we've got a great opportunity on Wednesday, and regardless of who wins, Tuesday's a big deal. I think Wednesday's also a very big deal, and we've got a massive opportunity there. So
that's huge.
Yeah.
I think what will I do if he wins? I think I'm gonna maintain character and integrity.
Yeah.
Dude, it is so crazy how just this political scene has taken people out of character. And
absolutely.
A lot of laughs. And just in case you're watching this is definitely a North Face hat, not a
yes.
You're like, what's the hat say? Like, it says the North Face. But it's just so funny how this takes people out of character. I got a student in one of my ministries that he's posted stuff like crazy on Facebook about the party that he's going for. And so I went to him and I saw him at church. I'm like, bro, like, you're really passionate about this. I had no idea about this about you. I said, so obviously you're going to vote. He said, I can't vote. I'm not old enough. And I said, wait a minute.
On their snapping anyways.
I'm like, exactly. I'm like, you mean to tell me you've been causing a ruckus? You've been posting controversial things. And you
snapping.
Go to the polls yet? No. Wow. I'm like, whoever he wins, I'm going to maintain integrity and care. I'm going to maintain a kind spirit, and something I don't see. You know, and maybe it's just online, and maybe it's just the people I'm friends with on Facebook. But
right,
I feel like we've lost our kind spirit, and in efforts to prove what we think is right or who we think is right, we've lost just a level of respect for one another that I think is super important. So I agree with what you said, man. Wednesday is easily just as important, and Wednesday might be a good day. To write out a forgiveness prayer or something. Or hey, I still love everyone else,
Right. Yeah. One of my homies, he voted for Trump in 2016, and he voted for Biden this time around. When he voted for Trump in 2016, one of his coworkers said, "Don't ever speak to me again." And I was like, "Wow!" And people are like that. We know that people are like that. So this time around, he's been very vocal about not voting for Trump and voting for Biden. So I just called him and I was like, "Hey, you remember that coworker that cut you off? Are y'all cool in that? Like, what do you do? Do you email this dude and say, hey, man, I'm back? Like, who's making these rules?"
Right.
And it's funny to me. And this is. And maybe I've said this before, but I have to continue saying it. One of me and my wife's favorite things to do in COVID season is tour other neighborhoods. We just love looking at houses. My wife's a really great interior decorator, and so we just love going to see other homes, different styles of homes, and all the little nuances and the architecture. And this home has character, and we just love doing that. Yeah. So we'll find a gated community, wait for the gate to open, and zoom in as fast as we can. Okay, we're like,
trespassing.
Oh yeah, it is trespassing. My bad. Catch me if you can. Dude, the funny thing is we'll wave at neighbors, and they'll be like, "Hey," I'm like, "Huh?" And so what we've noticed as we've been going to different neighborhoods around Dallas is, we'll see Trump signs. Mm-hmm. Then we'll see Biden signs in the same neighborhood. And we're always like, yo, what's it like for these?
The street, can you imagine going to get your mail?
Yeah, exactly. Going to get your mail, taking off the trash. It's just like, dude, we went into one, and this is one of the gated community cribs. It had a banner. Across their master bedroom, slide coming off the pool. Out of the master bedroom into the pool. It's just crazy house. But they had a Trump banner across the street. Biden banner. I'm like, oh, they got a banner contest going on right now. And they can rap whatever they want to rap. But my encouragement to people is this: you never want to let an allegiance to someone you don't know put distance between someone you actually know. Does that make sense? I'm going, you may never meet this person who lives in this house, this white house, okay? Whoever wins, you may never meet that person. Chances are most people will never meet that person, but they see their neighbor every single day. So if you're listening, you're watching right now, and you're going, I don't know if I can do fill in the blank for 4 years. Well, one, I think you're more resilient than you think you are. Yeah. Number two, depending on where you live over the next 4 years, you're going to have a neighbor.
Yeah.
And I don't know where they stand politically, but you're going to see them every single day. So you have to make a decision about the type of person that you want to be. A vote truly matters. I truly believe that. Mm-hmm. But I can't uphold a vote over my character, like you just said, my integrity, like you just said, above how I voted on a Tuesday, that it ruins the next 4 years that I have with someone I actually know. And so I just, yeah, man. So that's my hope. That's my prayer for the future. And I'm with you, man. I think there's a lot of rebuilding that we have to do. And I think it starts with our neighbors.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's all we got for today's episode, people. If you haven't voted, I encourage you, when you get to that voting booth, say a prayer. before you vote. I did that for about 3 or 4 minutes in the voting booth. They probably thought I was tampering with the voting booth because I was standing there because I truly believe it's a very important thing. It's an important decision, and I wanted to see God on that decision. So I encourage you to do so if you haven't already. And regardless of who wins, regardless of what happens when he wins, and be kind. Be kind to one another. And as Peter so eloquently said, it's time to rebuild. And I think we can do that together. Peter, it's really great to have you back.
Well, it's good to be back, man. I'm excited.
It's great to have you back. We've got some fun topics that we're going to be diving into this fall around the holidays. And hey, if today's message was helpful to you, or if you have some friends that are kind of struggling in this political season, hey, why don't you share it? Why don't you share it with 3 friends? That's your homework today. Share it with 3 people that you go, they need to hear this. Rate it, review, subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, this is Lifecast with Ryan Lee.